This isn't a food guide. It's practical tips on how to navigate Mexico City. If you're going to Mexico City for the first time, here's the tips I give all my friends before they go. I'm getting ready to head back to Mexico City for the third time, and I realized a lot of people talk about food and where to go and what to do, but there's not a lot of talk about the practical tips to navigate Mexico City. Here's my quick first-timers guide that I share with all my friends. First, let's start off on where to stay. No big surprise here. I'm going to recommend what others recommend, which is you stay in Roma Norte or Condesa. If you want something a little bit more upscale, Polanco is your place. The reason why these places are always recommended is because they're very walkable and there's plenty to do around there. Not only that, they're surprisingly lush. I was so surprised on my first visit when I just saw these walkways lined with massive plants and trees. These are beautiful neighborhoods. I don't need to tell you that Mexico City is a massive city. It's a super city. Having a plan on how you're going to get around is crucial. In my experience, Uber is very common, but the quality varies. And if you're planning on riding in an Uber for over 15 or 20 minutes, you might want to consider booking a comfort. And there's also a rideshare app called Didi. I have not used Didi, but I know that it's very commonly used. There's plenty of public transit in Mexico City as well, but it does get crowded during peak hours. If you ride during those peak hours, just stay a little vigilant with your belongings. One thing that people forget or don't even understand about going to Mexico City is that it is at altitude. So give yourself a day or two to get acclimated and make sure you're hydrating, and don't be surprised if going upstairs or walking around you get slightly winded. Now, I personally have never felt nothing but safe in Mexico City, but do be vigilant in areas like the Centro Histórico or the Bellas Artes area, and try not to let yourself get jostled. If people approach you asking for things, just say a polite no gracias and keep moving. Next is money, and I don't hear anybody talking about this. Make sure you're exchanging your money directly with a bank or at an official exchange. Our last trip, we got money out of an ATM, and then when we went to use it, we were immediately told it was counterfeit. We had no recourse because we had gotten it from an ATM in a different part of town. And when I tell you, the locals will know immediately if it's counterfeit. Another issue with money is to use your actual credit card and not a debit card. Sometimes I've noticed when I'm traveling in Mexico, if I use my debit card, that I'll start getting fraud alerts. That doesn't happen if I'm using my credit card. So be mindful of which method of payment that you're using. Also, it's good to always have small change on hand so you can tip musicians or buy street snacks or buy small items from vendors. Next is what to wear. Style-wise, Mexico City is very casual. You'll see a lot of jeans and sneakers, and a lot of people wear Docs, and there's a lot of black and neutral colors worn. The big thing here with the climate of Mexico City, which is typically cool in the morning, warming up in the afternoon, and dipping back down, is your layers. So you're going to want to have layers, and these should be lightweight. Typically what I wear when I go is a dress and a jean jacket. I keep it pretty simple, and then at night I'll wear jeans and a sweater, a jacket, and ankle boots. Shoes is very important. You're probably going to be doing a lot of walking. I average about 18,000 steps a day when I'm in Mexico City. So make sure your shoes are comfortable and that they can go the distance. The next thing is with museums that require reservations. Certain museums will be booked out weeks or even months ahead of time. So as soon as you know you're going and there are certain museums that you want to go to, check their website and go ahead and book your tickets. The next thing with museums is if you're traveling on a Monday, some of them might be closed. So plan your itinerary. The next thing is that you have to understand you are not going to see everything in one trip. And that's okay. And that's part of the reason why I'm going for a third time. Prioritize those places that are must visits, but try not to overbook yourself. Mexico City is a great place to wander around, explore, and discover. Another thing that I recommend people do, especially if it's your first time, is to book a walking tour that can give you historical and geographical context for the city. It will help inform everywhere you go and to understand the layout of the city. This context really sets the stage for appreciating everything about Mexico City. Next, because the city is so spread out and the traffic is so pervasive, try and plan your activities by neighborhood and definitely download offline maps. On my last trip, my phone connection was super spotty, so it was draining my battery. So make sure you have a backup battery with you at all times. The city is incredible, and a little prep and a little knowledge will go a long way in helping you enjoy your trip more. I'll be sharing some more recommendations leading up to my trip. So what are some of the tips that you would share with someone visiting Mexico City for the first time?